Knock knock, who's there? Orange. Orange who? Orange, you glad we're finally doing a VR video about VR? Alright. That's right. Hey guys, welcome to my VR video shenanigans. Previously we went through the introduction, we talked about what's going on with fucking PC gaming VR, we were talking about mobile VR, and then we were talking about console gaming VR, and all that, so, yada yada yada. Okay, so we went through that intro, and, yeah. Okay, now we should be on talking about whatever section we want to talk about, alright? So today we're going to be talking about the PC Gaming VR section. And yes, we're going to be talking about PC Gaming VR. PC Gaming Virtual Reality. Now, first off, which is pretty much most important to know about this, is that if you want to get into PC Gaming VR, you need a kick-ass gaming PC. You need a gaming PC. Okay? So, that's another thing. I mean, okay, if you want to play video games on your PC, it has to be a gaming PC, of course. What I do mean by totally saying this is that you need a kick-ass gaming PC with either a kick-ass AMD or Intel processor. Now, in terms of AMD, you got Ryzen, of course, but over on the Intel side, you have the i5, which is commonly used a lot. But, however, you could pay more and go for i7, which is more powerful. Okay, so also go for 16 gigabytes RAM. Or if you want to go minimum, you can pick 8 gigabytes RAM. But however, neither way, it's getting to a point where everybody's starting to recommend 16 gigabytes RAM. So just get the 16 gigabytes RAM to be on the safe side. Also, make sure you have a GTX 1060 to 1080. Like I said, 1080 is the most powerful. And, of course, I have GTX 980 after upgrading to 980. So, but however, still, I recommend you get a 1080, or if it's too expensive for you, just get the 1060. Alright. I know 1060 is the most controversial, but however, if you want to pay more, if you want more power, 1080 is for you. So make sure you go through the... Make sure you get your shit set up. Okay? Basically. So, you might want to have a GPU in there. You might want to have Core i5 or i7 or AMD Ryzen. That's the new thing that's out. Alright. So... Alright. So, yeah. So that's the idea. Make sure you have a better processor, make sure you have a graphics card in there, make sure you have at least 16 gigabytes RAM, make sure you also have about, like, 4 terabytes hard drive space, by the way, and make sure you have a Blu-ray drive just to be safe. I'm just saying, make sure you get a Blu-ray drive just to be safe. I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, yo, nobody's using Blu-ray discs. And most importantly, everybody's getting to download. Everybody's going to downloads. Yeah, I do know that, but just get a Blu-ray just to be safe. Just get a Blu-ray disc drive. Just be safe. Another thing to pretty much keep in mind is that you're going to have pretty much USB drive requirements. By the way, everybody's going with USB 3s. But, however, make sure you have a lot of USB 3s to begin with. Because people are recommending, or actually, Oculus is recommending for 3 USB 3s and 1 USB 2. However, I hate to break it to you, the third thing that requires the USB 3 device is actually an extension cord. I shit you not. And also, I went to their site and it began to show that the minimum requirements was actually 1 USB 3 and just and the rest is basically USB 2, and that's just it. And also revealing that the sensors actually only needed USB 2s the entire time. You see that look in my face? Yeah. And meanwhile, if you go over to the HTC Vive, which is also kind of weird, and yes, this is the prices of them all. We're talking about $800. Okay? But, however, don't worry about it. There's going to be a price cut that's going to follow. And when I say there's going to be a price cut, there's definitely going to be a price cut. Because you have Oculus cutting their price permanently, $100 off. Well, guess what? HTC Vive's going to pretty much have to follow suit with this. They're going to want to do this in terms of competition. They're going to cut that price down to fucking $100 off. And speaking of which, there's the HTC Vive that's saying, hey, you don't need the 3 USB 3s, you just need a USB 2, and that's just it. Okay. Yeah, and I talked about this in a previous video, and it was like, oh. Okay, then why does the Oculus Rift need, like, fucking 3 USB 3s when the Vive is saying, oh, you don't need USB 3s, you just need USB 2. And you have the HTC Vive being the first to implement fucking room scale technology. Like, what the fuck is going on? But, however, all in all, USB 3s are fucking recommended. So make sure you have USB 3s. If you don't, get yourself USB 3 hubs, or get yourself a PCI Express USB 3 hub. Just be safe. Make sure you get that shit plugged in. The third thing you're gonna need to know about is that setup is basically internet connected. So it's like what I had to do with the Oculus Rift. I had to go through the Oculus web address. So I was given like a web address to get the setup guide, to get the drivers. You're not gonna get the discs. Okay, you're gonna get told, hey, go to this website, connect it, and get your shit set up. However, we are connected to the internet 24/7, and we all get internet, of course. But, yeah, for offline users, or for those who don't have internet at the moment. What the fuck? I mean, you're not situation proofing, okay? But, like I said, everybody's connected to the internet. However, I'm not gonna... That's me sounding like a fucking smartass here, to be honest with you here. And I'm gonna say this straight. And I'm really gonna set the record straight with this. So what if we're all connected to the internet 24/7, okay? Internet's gonna be down for maintenance, or we're not gonna have internet at all because the bill hasn't been paid yet. Okay? So, it doesn't hurt to make a fucking installation disc. It doesn't fucking hurt to make an installation disc. I don't even know what the fuck's going on. Like I said, you need to be connected to the internet to set up your VR headset, but now I got these 3 things out of the way, we can talk about the advantages and disadvantages. Now, first off, we can talk about the advantages of this. Now, in terms of the advantages in VR, whether it being OS VR, Steam VR through HTC Vive, or Oculus Rift VR, you're going to have access to tons and tons and tons. You're going to have access to a wider variety, a bigger library of VR titles. So, in terms of VR software and VR experiences, there's a shit ton more. Because people are making shit left and right in terms of PC gaming VR. Now, normally people would go to console gaming VR, but however, that is pretty much going to be the huge advantage for PC gaming VR over console gaming VR. Now, the reason for that, and it's a no-shit Sherlock factor here, is that PC is actually a lot more open source. And yeah, there's going to be some open source while you have OSVR, which is open source VR, which is supposed to be more open source, neither way, all of these VR headsets out there are going to be open source. They can pretty much run software outside the Oculus service, outside Steam. I mean, so you got shit figured out for you. And that's basic in terms of open sourcing, and yeah. So you have the Oculus platform that needs to run up, you have the Steam VR platform that needs to run up, you just click that, open that up, and then you just pretty much select the software of your choice, whether it being inside Oculus service or Steam VR service, or pretty much outside of it. You just, as long as you have that software open, you clicked and opened up the software, and your VR headset's ready to fucking delve you into another world, and that's pretty interesting. So, like I said, all of your headsets are actually pretty much open sourced to an extent. Also, Steam VR and also Steam is also aware that there's other people that are not going to get their Vive. They're going to get the Oculus Rift because it's cheaper. And they do understand that. However, they have included, and of course, yes, that's right, they have done that. Now, Steam VR has included games that are compatible with not only HTC Vive, but also Oculus Rift and OS VR. Okay, so with all these innovative titles, however, consequently, that comes up with more ways of controlling games. And if you've seen my previous videos, you'll know that there's games that have pretty much brought in new factors of control. Of course, you have yourselves the traditional keyboard and mouse and the controller, but you also have the motion controllers like the Oculus Touch, the HTC Vive motion controllers included with the Vive itself. And most importantly, you have pretty much the cheapest thing you can find is the Leap motion control, but however, the downside to the Leap motion controller is basically there's not much that utilize that control. But yeah. However, there's mods, but they're like work in progresses and stuff, if I remember right. And also, you have gaze controls for mobile VR, and pretty much you have your smartphone, which you have seen be demonstrated in an example of a game that required you to use a smartphone for a more interesting experience. And if you don't know what I'm talking about Let's Play with Nanai. So, yeah. So, Let's Play with Nanai kind of says, hey, it's more recommended that if you attach a smartphone to something and you go through that one thing and then you hit that fucking screen, and so yeah, it uses your smartphone as an actual controller for something. And of course, we went through the Arkanojo as well. That used motion controllers, finally. So yes, you got wide varieties of ways to control alongside the wide varieties of games to access, and that is the second advantage to that. And of course, the third advantage here is if you want like high max performance, or if you want consistent 60 frames, then go ahead and get yourself PC Gaming VR, because PC Gaming VR is going to offer that. It's pretty much going to offer a lot more performance than console gaming VR, per se. And pretty much, it's obvious here, since PC, and if you want maximum performance, you go to PC Gaming. Of course. But however, you get a lot more performance compared to consoles. It's traditionally there, as always. PC gaming is going to be there if you want more performance than consoles. So, and also keep in mind, PC Gaming VR, more performance compared to console gaming VR. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the downsides to it. Nobody's perfect. Nothing is perfect. So, or if you see this as something perfect, we're going to have to get over it. First off, pricey as fuck. Okay? However, PC gaming is very much expensive. But also, it has become more affordable. And yeah, that can be debatable. But however, either way, it has gone cheaper to an extent, which is actually pretty much a good thing. And also, when it comes to requiring and having to pay money for a gaming PC, VR headsets are actually the most priciest of them all. Yes, the Oculus Rift has got its price cut. You get the Rift in Touch bundle for $598, and it's $100 off, so consequently, the Rift is going to be basically $500, and the Touch is going to be $100. But if you want to get them both together, it's going to be like nearly $598, which is going to be up to $600 for both of them because of the $100 off price tag. But this does not hide the fact that the HTC Vive costs fucking $800, okay? Or, you know what, $799.99, okay? I refrain from saying the price that way for an obvious reason. I don't want to throw people off, okay? $800. But, however, like I said, the HTC Vive may have its price cut going in. So, they're going to have to follow suit if they want to compete. Okay? Oculus is basically cutting their price, and the HTC Vive are going to, and pretty much the guys over at HTC and CVR are going to be like, okay, they just cut their price, and I think we need to cut our price too. Alright, we need to catch up. We need to play catch up. Okay? Alright. Okay, so, how about $100 to $200 off? Okay, we'll do that. That's going to happen pretty much soon. And I can totally see that happening. They're going to have no choice but to fucking do that. Another disadvantage I seem to also notice is that pretty much if you want to watch VR videos on YouTube, this is going to be more of a pain in the ass because you're going to need a third-party app like the DOVR, or you're going to need something that can pretty much view VR video, a software for it, because Oculus is not going to include that, and so will never Steam VR. And, of course, you're going to need third-party. I've been using Virtual Desktop, and before Virtual Desktop, I was using DOVR, which is a VR video player, by the way. And, however, that's for accessing video files. If you want to watch YouTube videos in VR, this is going to be more difficult. You can use WebVR, but, however, YouTube has not utilized WebVR support yet, unfortunately. And I'm sorry about the popping and all that. That's my phone. But let's take this serious and focus on this. If you want to watch YouTube videos in VR, you're going to have to do this through either DOVR, which is free, or if you want better quality, Virtual Desktop. Which Virtual Desktop allows you to pretty much browse your non-VR shit through VR, which is actually pretty cool. So, you have VR being expensive alongside PC gaming being expensive. And you also have yourself viewing VR-related media files being a pain in the ass. Oh, yeah, I remember. This has been throughout gaming history, okay? So, I've seemed to notice this shit too. But, however, people are doing what they can to make sure that fucking keeps off, and low ratings are there for you to help you make sure. Well, for a situation with VR coming out and VR becoming this big thing, consequently, people are going to come out with types of games that are going to be called, I don't know, shovelware. Yeah, that's right. You have shovelware titles that are nothing but plain gimmicky bullshit titles that are just out there just for a quick buck. Nobody has not put any more additional effort. Oh, let's just make the VR work. Okay, well, that's great. Well, that's fucking great. Same thing with shovelware titles. It's happened to the Wii, it's happened to the fucking thing, so yeah. However, there's not a lot of them. I'm not seeing them a lot. But, however, keep in mind, there is shovelware titles out there. And with VR coming out there, shovelware titles are going to fucking hit not only PC gaming VR, but they're also going to hit mobile VR, and pretty much console VR is also going to get hit with that shit, too. And, yeah. Fuck. That's all I gotta say. Overall, PC gaming VR is basically VR with more performance and more software and more ways of controlling. And, of course, yeah, it's pricey, and you're gonna get... There's gonna be shovelware titles. I don't see that a lot anyway. And, of course, viewing VR media is gonna be a bitch. However, we'll talk about that in mobile VR, because that's where it's going to play a huge factor. But anyway, PC gaming VR is great. You have VR experiences left and right. Fantastic. There's innovations coming out, and also another thing to keep note, you have Oculus price cuts, you have the HTC Vive, pretty much about to do the same shit. And pretty much whether you're playing with Rift or Vive or OSVR or LG's upcoming thing, which Upload VR has gotten a hold of and has demonstrated. You know, actually, as a matter of fact, I think I need to put a link in the description. So make sure you check the description box for more details about that new LG headset. Okay, so yeah, like I said, the PC gaming VR, if you want max performance VR gaming, this is for you. Now, stay in next time where we talk about mobile VR. That's right, guys. Or we can talk about cardboard and then gear, and then sooner or later we'll go ahead and talk about mobile VR, and then we'll go straight into PlayStation VR, and then we go ahead and conclude with VR and overall. But however, like I said, it's a good thing I'm doing this shit in segments at a time. It's going to be, otherwise it would have been longer enough to get huge VR videos. But anyway, that's enough. If you want maximum performance, PC Gaming VR is there. And of course, PC Gaming VR is where it all started. Okay. We already got the whole of that, so yes, PC Gaming VR, whether you're playing on Rift or Vive or OSVR, it's fun, fantastic. You get better performance compared to console VR. Anyway, that is all. I'll be looking forward to you in the next video.